Welcome back, guys. Thanks again for joining me on the Shop Before podcast. It's Alex here, your host, to talk about the next topic of discussion, patterns of discomfort. Now, this is an interesting thing because you can either be someone who pays attention to bad things happening, or you can pretend it never happens and just ignore every time a bad thing happens. Now, if you are one of those kind of people who just ignore things, you'll find that you tend to make the same mistakes because you're not learning from anything that has happened previously. Now, this is something that dumbfounds me, why people would allow themselves to follow the same path that will lead them to discomfort, where they could just cut the people off that are causing that discomfort if they've run out of chances. Now, obviously, everyone's different and we give people more chances than sometimes they deserve. But if we keep on following the same path, nothing will change, because that person, whoever they are, will see that eventually we will forgive them. So they will just keep on repeating their ways because they don't feel they've got anything to lose, and they can always get their way because they will figure that you're just going to come back to them the moment they stuff up. Now, this is something that happens in everything, and you don't want to be too harsh with some people and give them a chance. Not everyone can see the light so quickly. But comes a time where you almost feel that you're hurting yourself by constantly putting yourself in harm's way because you think things will get better. That is something that it will be different for everyone, because we all have different tolerances, and we all try and persevere because we figured if we didn't persevere, we've wasted all that time initially with the person. And like any friendship relationship is investment. You put your heart and soul into people, and you hope to get something back from that. Otherwise, you question yourself of why you do put yourself through the harm's way when all you get is heartache. So this is something that people should pay attention to the patterns, and if they give people 3 chances, 2 chances, or how many chances they like, as long as it goes by their rules, because if you don't put a limit to what you give, those who are takers will take more than they should, because they have no limit to what they'll take. Where givers feel bad if they don't do what they can for someone, but there are limitations. We all have our limitations. We've got to admit that we're human, and there's only so much we can take before we feel like we are broken. So before we get broken, best to stop someone from having that power to break us, and give them as many chances as you like, but as long as it doesn't harm yourself. People who do take care of your generosity only think of themselves, and you going or leaving them to their own devices, they see that as something that you don't actually mean, because you keep on coming back every time they do the wrong thing by you. So those people are selfish, and so being that selfish, it's not something you can change, especially if they've had their way all those times that you've forgiven them. So you can only do yourself justice by leaving them alone and spending time with people who will give you that respect, because by you going back and forth, you're not respecting yourself. And that's something that people who don't respect themselves, you almost got to blame yourself for being smart enough to recognize the problem, but dumb enough not to do anything about it. It's a harsh world, and there are people who will take advantage of generosity and good people. You just got to be someone who doesn't fall in the trap by paying attention to their ways, and hopefully recognizing that there's going to be no good, or you're not going to have a good life going back and forth to people who will treat you like trash. So my advice is get help from friends, family, people, social sites, anywhere you can. Feel free to go on the Lost My Mind website, .com.au, or Lost Perspective, depending on where you are, .com, and post your problems there. And hopefully someone will give you the advice that you need. Anyway, thanks again for joining me on this next episode, and we'll hopefully hear you. Hopefully you'll join me on the next one. Thank you very much. Thank you. Bye.